everybody, it's time for another wonderful edition of the Jersey Tales. Well, who all do we have on tonight? Well, Blue Streak is here.
Hello.
Bunt is here.
Hi.
Jingles is here.
What's up?
Pete Wolf is here.
What up?
Dialox is here.
Hey, what's going on?
Velvet's here.
Hello.
And it's me, Aquano Fox. Well, kind of the horse. It's me. Welcome everyone to the Jersey Tales. All right, so up on deck, we've got, well, there's been some college football playoffs that have happened recently, and there's some soon to be in our future college football playoff games. So which one do we want to talk about first? Do we want to torture the Ohio State fan and then reward the Michigan fan by going that route, or do we make them wait?
I'd rather torture the Ohio State fan as a person who does not like
let's
Ohio
torture
State.
the Ohio State fan.
Yeah, let's just poke him with a stick
agree.
for a little
Bring it
bit.
on. You
Yeah.
can't torture me any worse than that bowl game did.
let's be real. You got a Kansas State transfer that is not even good. So have fun having another losing season against Michigan. So
Listen,
Honestly, as an Ohio State fan, I am perfectly okay with them having an 8-4 season. They need a reset. They need a chance to sort of come back together and get their bearings back about them. And there's a lot of fans in this fan base that could really use a reality check.
And 8-4. Like, do you know how many college teams would kill for an 8-4 record?
Over half of them.
Right? I would kill for that. You
Yeah,
have no
Me too.
idea.
Me too.
Michigan probably gonna have another undefeated season like always. So
Like, Kentucky's just like, where do I sign up with that lifetime contract? 8-4? Hell yeah!
Oh my
Kentucky.
God! Can you imagine Vanderbilt football? They would kill for that.
I know you did. I know all about it.
Okay, Vanderbilt is really good in basketball though. I have never thought they had a fucking football program though either. So
it's their baseball that's killer.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yes.
baseball. They're a
Their
baseball team.
program's killer.
Yeah, because
Not
for
the
a while there,
basketball.
when we were hot, we were like, it was always Vanderbilt was the one team you worried about. They were going to knock you out of the college playoffs, and they did.
Yeah, the
Yes.
college
Yes.
baseball World Series.
No,
But, like,
Vanderbilt
Louisville was
football-
scary good, and Vanderbilt would just always just be like our kryptonite. Yeah.
Yeah, Vanderbilt college football is pretty much Jay Cutler, and that's been about it historically.
Yeah, there's
mean,
no one
someone
else.
Jay
has
Cutler.
to-
There's no one
Someone
else.
has to keep the SEC test scores high. So
Yeah.
Vanderbilt exists.
Because you know the money. Cha-ching.
Ka-ching.
Sorry, bud. I was speaking the truth here.
Yeah, well, like the SEC's sitting there, like salivating, like looking, like who could we bring on board that would be our other Vanderbilt? Like we're not allowed to schedule cupcakes anymore, but if they're a conference member,
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
yeah, yeah. At this point,
Texas?
Florida, or not Florida,
Florida State.
Miami.
Florida State.
No, oh yeah, Miami.
Miami's not that good. They're not.
Wait,
Miami to the SEC?
That was
No.
That was been one of the rumor packages that have been floated. Of course, they're probably going to end up in the Big Ten, which
All
is going
I
to be
know-
great.
I can guarantee you it's just Oklahoma and Texas.
Anyway, we got sidetracked. Before I go and poke the stick a little bit more, though, on the fact that they're all ready to fire their coach after winning 11 games.
It's utterly absurd, and like I said, that's why I want to see them have sort of a normal team schedule and like a normal team year, because it would really help to remind these fans that look, it's expecting them to be perfect every year just isn't realistic.
Well, yeah, it's like, oh gosh, now see, look, all we're doing is derailing, talking about the success that's happening on, but just to jump in there, as a Louisville fan, it takes a lot of mediocrity to reset those expectations. And it takes a lot of sucky years to even reset those expectations. Because, hi, Louisville basketball fan here,
Oh yeah.
we were unhappy with the mediocrity that we're getting from, Chris Mack and his just scheduled implosion after a couple of years. Right, because we're still expecting to just always be contending for a national title. And then we have the Kenny Payne era, which I mean, it's such a shame that they've canceled college basketball men's for the last 2 years. Because but I've been getting a lot of watching it on the women's college basketball. It's been great.
I haven't paid attention to women's. Our basketball team hasn't really contended in women's basketball for probably 20 years, so I haven't really paid attention to that. But I was in our conference.
Yeah, I mean, ours has always been a contender. They've always been the dance, and actually, we've gone to the national title a couple of times. We never quite crossed that threshold. It's nice to see good basketball being played in the Yum Center. Our Taj Mahal of basketball.
In football, I think the ultimate word of warning to everyone should be Nebraska, who wasn't satisfied with only going to a national championship game one time under Frank Solich, and since they fired him, they've become basically completely irrelevant.
Yeah, like Bo Pinelli. I mean, granted, like the Twitter memes and stuff with like Bo Pinelli posing, with his sweater and the cat and all of that gloriousness. Like, they should have kept him. I mean, not 9 wins in the Big Ten. That's pretty freaking good. I bet they wish they had that now.
You still had a winning season with 9 wins regardless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and not again. It's 9 wins. It's like 9 good wins. And what will happen is occasionally, after those 9 wins, you'll get that coin tossed the other direction on those other 2 games, and now you're a contender.
I mean, the best season Pelini had, they finished 14th in the AP poll. Which is, decent. It's the highest they've done since then. But it was, I think if Pelini had a top 10 finish, they would have given him a few more years. But because he fell just outside of that, they felt like, well, let's see what our other options are.
And how has that gone?
Well, it turns out they didn't have any other options.
Nope.
So they chose Ryan Day.
That's Nebraska.
Nebraska.
We're talking about Nebraska. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. What I'm saying is that Nebraska should have stuck with Bo, because now you're in NIL territory, and you don't know what he would have been able to have done with some of that, especially, just basically saying, hey, we're just missing a few key components. Because 9 wins consistently, that means you're missing some key components, and you could use that. Yeah, you could use that some leverage to get some people up on stage, and I'm sure there's some big corn money. Just like this big oil money, maybe big ethanol.
But I mean, this is what happens when you're conditioned to accept success. Anything but winning is deemed a failure. So when you don't win, you tend to get restless and you make irrational decisions. I mean, look at obviously Nebraska. We're going to see this with Ohio State. I don't think Ryan Day is going to come back. And you can also say Florida, who was a really good team under Urban Meyer, and they moved off of him. Well, yeah, and
they were a good team before Urban Meyer too.
Yeah, they did.
Well, they were a good team before the coach before Urban Meyer when they had Spurrier, but Ron Zook was definitely not the answer there.
Oh no, that part's correct too. But they did have old football coach, which also just absolutely glorious in terms of notable quotables right there.
I'd be really shocked if Ryan Day keeps his job. Although
but the thing is I don't get that mentality, because how many regular season games did you lose? You lost 1 and you got fired. Like this is what. So has anyone paid attention to LSU? Because LSU just went through that whole nonsense. Granted, I back to Bo Pinelli. I remember watching Les go against Bo, and it was the most mind-boggling, crazy college football game you have ever seen. Because if you don't remember Les Miles, just an absolute nutter when it came to how he played football. Sometimes it worked out great for him, and they would win a national championship, and sometimes it wasn't working out great for him. It was kind of like high risk, high reward. Failure. Well, gee, it's going to really suck. That's kind of the way that Les played. And when the two of them met in like this, it was like 2 juggernauts fighting to find out who was going to lose. And it was a glorious match. But that was the end of Bo's career, apparently, was after that LSU game. But then LSU went through basically the same thing. And then it was like, okay, great. And you're getting rid of Les Miles, and in comes Coach O. And you just happen to have one of those generational quarterbacks show up that win you a national championship, which you can say what you will about the coaching staff at the Bengals, but if you're getting to the Super Bowl off of a quarterback that doesn't have an actual O-line, he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, 100%. I was watching that Oklahoma game, and he can make all the throws that nobody could.
Yeah.
It was
And,
insane.
and then what happened after that was Joe goes on to the pros, and then LSU implodes, and they fire that coach. Which now you're thinking about, like, well, what would have happened if Les Miles would have been there under Joe? Like, would things have been differently? Probably. And then they start on the hunt for a new coach, and now they're stuck with the ex Notre Dame coach, right?
Yep.
Brian
Kelly.
Who has this weird accent now since he moved to Louisiana.
Oh boy, I haven't heard him since.
Family.
Oh,
Brian Kelly is as authentic as AstroTurf.
yeah.
Oh,
Like not AstroTurf, 90s AstroTurf. Like that's just some like concrete with some Burberry carpet on it that someone spray painted green.
Like the Silverdome's turf in the back of the 90s. Mm-hmm.
Now, Brian Kelly, maybe that's what they actually needed down at LSU. I'm going to have to give him a couple of years. Whether or not they'll give him a couple of years to figure out if that works for them or not, I don't know. Like, because like Brian Kelly reminds me a lot of Chip Kelly. Like, it's kind of the same kind of thing. Like, he's also similar to Les Miles. Like, it's a high risk, high reward kind of situation. And then if it doesn't work out, well, that was the gamble you took. Now, if you're not willing to sit with that gamble, it's going to cost you a lot of money. But again, LSU, why do they fire people? Well, they fire people because they don't beat Alabama. Well, you happen to be upset because the one team you can't beat is the team that wins it all the entire time. Yeah. Except for this year where they lost horribly. Who'd they lose to?
That was good. That was a good last play. I've never watched a game. All I've seen was the last play. And that's all I need to know about that game.
No, I'm just asking, who did Alabama lose to this year? Just ask.
Texas. Oh, yeah, right, because I forgot they lost to Texas.
In Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
They lost to two of the Final Four teams besides themselves. I mean, that's
still pretty good, though.
I was specifically asking to get us back on topic. Who did they lose to recently?
The University of Michigan.
I was trying to set you up. Come on.
Bro, we'd all fallen asleep already. I don't know.
I'm sorry. So tell, before it's redacted, you might as well go ahead and recap it for me.
So basically, our special teams were shit in the bed the entire game. Our defense stood out. They sacked Jalen Milroe 7 times.
Holy smokes! Oh,
and their center was literally throwing a lot of low snaps. So there was a lot of low snaps for Bama in that game. And because we were up 13-7 at the half, right? They came back, because they scored, and Bama scored the first time in the second half. Then we came back to tie the game at 20-20, and by overtime, Blake the Great Corum is now the all-time rushing leader in the University of Michigan now. And boy, is he a stud. I'm pretty sure he's going to get at least above the second round if he does end up going to the draft, which I'm pretty sure he will. And then that last play of the game, it was a low snap. Jalen Milroe guts it through, and our defense stood out, and we are advancing to the national title.
This game for the national title is going to be really important for Michigan because I think that this is going to have an impact on how the NCAA is going to rule. And the NCAA says, well, we're doing an independent investigation. Yeah, sure. They won't. I don't think they will take away a national championship, but they'll take away a runner-up.
Oh, really? You don't think that they will? Again, I mentioned I was a Louisville fan, right?
They took away a national title with Rick Pitino.
Trust me, if the crime is egregious enough, they'll take a national championship.
They will. They will.
It just has to be egregious
enough. As a Michigan fan, I doubt it.
All right, so I just have to throw a little bit of context in here. In, was it 2013? There was a little national title game that was played between the University of Michigan and the University of Louisville. University of Michigan got absolutely smoked.
Yeah,
in this particular game.
That.
I remember that game.
Yeah, and it was.
This was before Harbaugh showed up.
Way before.
No, this is basketball. Basketball.
Oh, this is basketball.
Well, apparently you don't remember it because you forgot what sport it was in.
And they took
national title. You said national title, and I thought football, but not the Final Four.
Was the last time Michigan played a national title game? 2000?
2001? No, I think the last time we ever won a national championship was 1997.
Are you
Before
sure about that? You
yep.
split that one. You split it. Your last official title was 1941.
No, what the fuck?
Well, there was the split title in '97 with Nebraska.
I do remember that because
we
quarterback-
beat Washington State.
you guys had who at quarterback, and I did because I was watching the documentary when Tom Brady was there, and I forgot his
Tom Brady was there.
Brian Greasy. You guys had Brian Greasy, and you guys won it with him.
Yeah, and Washington State had Ryan Leaf.
I forgot about that. They had Ryan Leaf.
And Charles Woodson.
And Charles Woodson, who won MVP or Heisman Trophy. Sorry, my bad.
So no, you're fine. But the whole reason why I brought that up was because it was between Louisville and Michigan, in 2013, in college basketball, and you've got one of the most premier college basketball teams, or things in the country. It's equivalent, not quite like Alabama losing a title, but it's up there. Because we've won more titles in college basketball than I think Michigan has officially in football. So it was a big deal. And so then it comes out that apparently we tried to recruit players with ugly strippers, and we got reported on because a single in-house lone actor hired in ugly strippers, and people complained because we brought in ugly strippers, and they didn't come to the school. So no one on the team actually was ever influenced by the ugly strippers. And we had the entire season stripped from us.
Yep. I don't remember it, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
I've read the contents of it, and it was I felt so bad for Louisville fans.
It wasn't even like if anything, it would have been the opposite of a benefit, right? It's we still managed to get good players to come here, even with the ugly strippers. Come on, give us a that's a mulligan.
So you hate Michigan because of the ugly stripper thing.
No, I hate Michigan because it was the Michigan situation was every time that we'd post anywhere, they would constantly bring it up until about 3 months ago when they immediately used it was a lone actor. The thing is, though, is they did the investigation on us. They went through all of our university emails. There was no exchanges. There was no internal documents, anything about this that would show that Andre McGee, who was only on the team as a favor because he was a player for us for a couple of years, and Patina was just yeah, that's cool, Andre, you can come on, and you can be an assistant to an assistant coach, and he just kind of went off and did his own thing. Here, we've got the Michigan superfan that has put a manifesto and stored it on a Michigan computer. That people are now submitting freedom of information requests to get that manifesto because it's going to be good. And when we get it and it's released, we're going to read it.
And I agree
this show.
That based upon the way the NCAA treated Louisville, that they would be willing to vacate a title for Michigan. However, that would require the NCAA to be consistent, and none of their previous cases really seem to have any bearing on how they rule in any other case.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how many scholarships they withhold from Missouri for the next 20 years because of what Michigan did. Yeah, I know. I know the joke.
Let's be honest. The NCAA rarely punishes a blue blood, and if they do, it's usually light.
That's the argument, though. It's for a while there, Louisville was in that college basketball blue blood kind of argument. Who else are you going to put in there outside of the 4 or 5 teams? And really, does UCLA still deserve their blue blood title? Because they only won stuff under one coach.
Well, UCLA did win one after Wooden left. I think it was in the 90s.
Come on.
I mean, they've been the what? Weren't they in the Final Four in 2000? It was the Kevin Love. It was the Kevin Love year. I think they were.
Yeah, I think
they were
it
in the
was
Final
the Kevin
Four.
Love year. Yeah.
I know Russell Westbrook didn't make it. They made Elite 8, but they never made Final 4.
They made Final Four in 2020, where that Gonzaga player made a half-court shot to continue their undefeated season.
They got so lucky in that game.
Wait, Gonzaga?
Yeah, that Gonzaga. But don't worry, everybody's got problems with that Gonzaga.
I hate Gonzaga with every integrity in my body.
I mean, they're basketball.
Not this
No, they're
year.
good. They're fantastic. Yeah, I love their coach. And he's great. X's and O's.
We need to see more.
Mark is one of the best coaches to ever do it.
college basketball, like you're now like opening like the numbers game with me. So for like specifically after the 2013 game, the University of Louisville basketball program made the top 25 of the most profitable college sports ventures, which means that like it looks at each individual thing. So you look at college football individually, you look at college basketball individually, you look at whatever it is. They made the top 25. The 24 teams in front of them were all football programs. We were the only college basketball program to get it. In fact, our profit margin was so high that we could afford to fully fund the next 2.5 people on the list. Like it was that nuts. So yes, there's a lot of like stupid money. Like they brought in $57 million that year in revenue, which was enough profit to run the University of Kentucky, and I think it was either Duke or North Carolina was like number 2, like to fully just fund their program and still have money to take home. Like it was nuts, the amount of money that is. And put it in context, our football program brought in revenue-wise like $1 million less than that.
So about that national title game this coming week.
Well, no, there's still one more game we didn't talk about from the Washington game.
Texas coming surging back in that game against Washington was really impressive.
I was so scared.
If Washington had blown that game, that would have been one of the all-time chokes.
Oh, 100%. They should have won that game by a mile, in my opinion.
No, they were.
I mean, they dominated 59 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they literally did.
Yeah, and Texas almost got it. That last play with like 1 second left of the game.
Oh, that's
until that Washington player slaps it out, like bats it out of the end zone. That's how Washington made it to the national title.
And that was excellent play by that defensive back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was so good. Now like, that goes back to like the whole like the Pac-12 thing. Is for the longest time the joke's always been it's Pac-12 after dark. Like you never know really what you're going to expect when you get into a Pac-12 game, and we literally got a Pac-12 after dark game with that, and like it was wonderful. And then the top comment I see is, well, that just means that Washington's going to win the whole thing, and they're like, well, why? Because that's like the most Pac-12 after dark thing to do is the last year of their existence. We're going to win the national championship.
It's so poetic. It will be so poetic if it happens.
Well, the part that's going to be scary, though, is like, Washington and the Big Ten, they might be like crazy good.
Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA.
All those teams overrated.
Go ahead. Yeah, because all right. 2/3 of those teams are overrated. I mean, I think Washington has actually the best chance of being scary good in the Big Ten. Like Oregon, yeah. I mean, you got Nike money. What else do you got? Outside of Nike money, what else do you got that's coming in? Because you got to take the NILs down into context, right? Yeah. So you've got Nike money coming in, and like for a while there, that's why they were good. Was because Nike was a sports player. And like, I mean, yes, like Nike's a big brand. It's worth a lot of money, but it's not king of the castle, right? It's not like the most expensive brand that's out there. So, I think after Nike, there's not going to be a lot that's going to be available there for Oregon. And so then after that, you look at the other offerings that are coming. It was like USC. Okay, that's going to be questionable.
USC.
I'm already seeing USC fans getting cocky already on Twitter.
Yeah, even when they're cheating, they're bad at it. Like the cars they were giving like Reggie Bush and stuff. Like, come on, I mean, they were terrible cars. But then you look at like Washington though, like. What would be the main benefactor up there with Washington? I mean, that's going to be like Amazon money and Microsoft money. It's going to be dumping into that.
The reason why I say Washington will be overrated is because they were probably a best 7-5 team without Penix. And then he transferred there, was crazy good. And all of a sudden, okay, who's going to be their quarterback after this?
But that's what his stats that game.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, right, with the NIL stuff, because that's where the calculus kind of changes, because there is so much money, like just free capital, free flowing capital in Washington
In
State.
theory,
There's a
but are those donors gonna are they donors? Is that money all donor money, and is it going to go into the football program?
That's true.
Question.
There's a lot of big time Amazon folks that were from that school, and there are a lot of Microsoft folks that are from that school. So there's a lot of cash that can just be thrown around. And if they just want to buy a championship, like forget Texas oil money. Like now you got smart programmer money, which is going to be way more effective.
Well,
and I'm only speaking as a smart programmer. So
there is a.
When you said Texas oil money, I just like jumped up a little bit.
I could up a laugh at that.
Historically speaking, the two programs have faced each other 13 times previously. Michigan has won 8. Washington has won 5. Played a couple of home and homes. They've played a couple of Rose Bowls against each other. Historically speaking, Michigan has a better historical record, more national championships, more conference championships, more wins, et cetera, et cetera. They have more than Washington in every category except for bowl record. Washington is 500 in bowl games historically, while Michigan has a 431 win percentage.
But question.
Yeah, but like that's the problem, right? Though, because like historically, also you couldn't just like say, hey, here's $100,000, come play football for us, and go be on a Arby's commercial.
The problem with that logic is Washington hasn't been the greatest here recently, up until there's only one time in 2016 or 18 that they went with Jake Browning. And then now. So, and Michigan has played in a bunch of major bowl games over the past 30 years. So
you may have spoiled my fanfare towards Washington with that little.
I know. I want Washington to win this game. It's going to be close regardless.
I think I will go ahead and just say I think Washington's going to win.
I think Washington's going to win just because they'll get over that front seven very easily, because I know Michael Penix has a lot of good weapons and he can get that ball out very quickly, which will.
I will say this though: don't underestimate Michigan's defense, because they're literally number 1 in the country.
You're facing yeah, it's gonna be a number 1 offense versus number 1 defense scenario in my opinion.
It's gonna be good. It will be good football. It will be good football.
Think of it like the 2022 national championship when it was Georgia and Bama. Like Bama was the immovable. Oh no. Bama was the unstoppable force, and Georgia was the immovable object.
And the reason why they were unmovable is because ESPN stuck them there.
Sorry,
I mean, sorry.
I'm gonna be real with you though. Like the reason why they were there is because there was no other team that year to prove it, and that's my opinion on shit. Oh, my bad. Things.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Like it is your opinion on your things, and it's fine. Like my issue is like Lamar Jackson's freaking freshman year. He plays half a football game against Auburn and almost beats them. And it's just Lamar Jackson. We had nothing else to go off of that year. The SEC is one of those ones where, like, yes, it's good, but it's not like Death Star level good against like Yavin 4. If you want the sci-fi nerd competition, like you're more like it's more like, okay, it's two almost equally sized fleets, but like Alabama's got Alabama brought in a couple more friends on some fishing boats, so like the number's just a little bit better. But like SEC folks, they tend to think that SEC is the best thing in the world. And, I get it.
Well, that's because of like one team. Let's be honest.
It's always one team.
Like,
it doesn't matter what year it is. It's always one team.
Pretty much.
By the way, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm glad you brought up Alabama, and not to get too off topic, but Nick Saban.
We're talking about college football. You can't talk about college football without talking about college football. Nick Saban. College Saban. Yeah.
I have a theory. I don't think Nick Saban is going to be coaching much longer. And I say that
No.
because I think the game has passed him by. I think he's the kind of person who doesn't like to innovate. I think he's stuck in his ways. And I don't think he likes the current landscape of college, especially with NIL, equaling the playing field.
I don't-
Alabama
bit.
did not
I-
look like Alabama of old.
Real quick,
And
didn't he already announce that he was leaving?
No.
No.
No, there's
I
just
swear
rumors.
he did.
Nope.
No.
I was watching a little bit of the Pat McAfee show. He showed up. I didn't see what he said. He was comparing like what it was like being in the NFL and compared to college. I remember him talking about that.
yeah,
I mean, this is closer. Like now it was closer. Now I will say this, like as far as that concept goes, Nick Saban's one of those guys that like when he even wins the national title and they go to interview him for his celebratory like speech about how excited he is. Like the second interview he gives right after that is like, we're back to working for a national title. It's like, you just won, dude. Like go play golf somewhere for God's sakes.
Go get hired by the LA Chargers, man. What
he's
the
like
hell?
Belichick. It's like all business. You know,
I mean,
even
Yeah.
after they
they,
win.
Yeah, I
they
can
did coach
definitely-
together with the Browns in the mid '90s.
They did. It's the same coaching tree.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
never-
definitely see Saban probably going to get hired by the NFL because I remember I was watching a Pat McAfee show this morning.
He won't go to the NFL.
No,
he's
he'll-
done. He's done with that.
He's already about 75 years old too. Yeah, I actually remember that. Or is
Yeah,
it?
Yeah, I
I mean,
think his reign is probably. I think Bama's reign with Saban being there. I had nothing but respect for Saban, especially watching that Rose Bowl game. We had honestly, it was a very good game.
Yeah,
Well, like with Nick Saban though, like because he's also brought in Bill Belichick to just do camps with his folks, right? Just at Alabama, and like it was part of the Saban super weapon because he just had he had that level of drive. He would just bring them in, and then he would do the opposite. He would go up to the Patriots and do stuff in their camp. Of course, they're all looking at him like, "What are you doing, poor person?" Because I'm more money than you, and I'm a wide receiver.
if I had a chance to coach in the Division One, I wouldn't just because of how NIL is and the conference structure. I would prefer FCS or Division 2 or 3 over Division 1. I'm sorry, but Division 1 FBS is going to shit, my opinion.
Well, it's going to be different. The money play is going to be much more different, and it's just another way of navigating the game, which was the whole reason why I brought it up originally. Was because like the history be damned with Michigan versus Washington, because at this point it's who has the money, which was the whole point that I was saying that I thought they would be a contender on the Big Ten.
One thing,
Because it's going to be the new money, which the new money, they're just throwing cash out there. Like old money, they're going to be a little bit more, unless they're just like stupidly invested in their stupid university. New money is going to be much more liberal with it, and I think that Washington is going to be a top 3. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this podcast is going to be super successful, and then you guys are going to pull this up and just be like, 10 years later, Washington is the Vanderbilt of the Big Ten. Here you go, Quino. Eat some cardboard. Nom, nom, nom. That's all I was going to say.
No, I think one of the challenges with FBS is it's changing, is that in addition to recruiting new players out of high school, you basically have to re-recruit all the players already on your team. And I do think that a lot of guys like Saban who are reaching or getting closer to retirement age are just going to go, forget it, I don't want to put in double the work and retire.
I think after that they'll be like a 9-3 and 10-2 team for a couple of years. Then after that, it's just a matter of can they improve after that or not. It's just like you said, it's who they hire and who they have on their staff. It's just a matter of who, really, and how much work the players and the coaches will put into that program.
My thing is like the way that I look at it with Bama is it's the same way that it kind of works with like Louisville, right? So like here's a major metropolitan area. In Bama's case, here's an entire freaking state
You're not wrong.
that has no pro sports team to funnel money into.
Actually, there is one other team. the USFL XFL merger, the Birmingham team.
Oh, well.
Well, I mean,
that's irrelevant.
Let's be honest.
we're college ball. That is clearly pro stuff. That's weird.
Spring football is irrelevant right now. No one gives a crap about that.
All right, so let's get people on the record. Let's just go around the room real quick. Blue Streak, who do you got for the national title?
Oh, why'd you have to ask me first?
Well, we're going numerically.
Okay, that'd be alphabetically is what you were looking for there. But it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be one score either way. As a Columbus, Ohio resident, I'm gonna have to say Washington, but I think it could go either way.
What?
Washington.
How much?
You know, I'm going to go bold and say by like 10.
Eagles.
Give me Washington by 4.
I'm going Michigan. I'm going Michigan by 8.
By 8.
Ooh.
So you think you're going for 2, or do you think like you're going to get 2 extra field goals and then some safeties?
Knowing that defense is like literally at the top, like literally the number 1 defense in the country, it's going to be like they're going to keep Washington at bay defensively.
You keep thinking that. I think it's going to be a high offensive game.
No, they have, because with Mikey Sanderstrill, Will Johnson, and our defensive line, bro.
But it's Bama.
Low in the first half.
Yeah.
Y'all were rusted in the first half until y'all had to prove it.
They got rusty.
Y'all showed up at the last moment that y'all needed to be. Y'all were rusted. Same thing with Bama. Washington came out firing. So was Texas. But we're both going back and forth. Washington's got more power. Hello, Penix Jr. still got that Penix energy, throwing double the yards this season.
Like if Michigan leaves Odunze open, just by a little bit, you could kiss it goodbye.
The Michigan fan, I can't.
You have to. I mean, you have to. I mean, and there was no hatred on my part for you taking the homer position. That's fine. Psylocke, what do you got?
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Washington is going to beat Michigan 30-27 on a last-second field goal.
Oh, you're going with 3.
Okay. Oh, you're going specific.
It's going to be a close game. This is not going to be a blowout either way.
No.
But it's going to be an entertaining game nonetheless.
Velvet, what do you got?
I'm going to say this. It's going to be a higher offensive game than Seawolf was going to think, but I'm actually going to take... it's going to go either way, but with Washington's not great defense, I'm going to actually take Michigan 35-31.
Thank you.
It's going to be a close game no matter what, though.
Honestly, it's a non-SEC biased game, too, so that's why it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really good game to watch.
Yeah.
You got Pac-12 nuttiness. It's just going to be just like something goofy is going to happen. So
give me chaos. I'm all for it for chaos. Give me that chaos, man.
I'm going. There's at least a 10-point differential. Okay. It's going to be one of those weird things where it comes down the last 2 minutes. One team's up by 7, and they just so happen to secure the ball, and they kick the field goal just to seal it. It's one of those kind of things. That's my fourth quarter. We're just going to go ahead and put this away. This is how it's going to work. What the? I don't think I could do the final score. I would say probably. I think it's going to be Washington. It's going to do it. Michigan would probably be under 30. So that would be my prediction. So we'll see. We'll see how good it is.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
also forgetting about one important thing that even Seawolf has not even said about is Jim Harbaugh. The reason I bring him up is it's like
the weird Harbaugh.
The weird.
It's
Harbaugh.
Because hey, this is my 3rd time here in the semifinals. 3rd time's a charm. I'm over the mountain. I'm here. What now? What now? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do now? Since I made to that next step.
We're going all the way because this team 140, Michigan team 144 has been proving all expectations.
But it's the coaching. Is because this is his 3rd straight year going to the semifinals, getting blown out. You finally go over the hill. Now what?
We're going.
What's the next step?
Well, we just gotta keep going, doing what we gotta do best.
They should have beat TCU.
Because honestly,
oh god,
this whole I don't even want to talk about TCU right now because
I was happy
got
they
blown
lost.
out by Georgia. They've been irrelevant.
Purple.
Well, you got to know that Georgia is just a powerhouse the past 2 years before
Yeah.
this.
What if it's
Yeah,
what if the
and-
curse of purple?
Michigan has been relevant after COVID, and I don't count COVID because that was just purely dumb off the bat.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about COVID.
No,
You got
I,
a cheeseburger?
Because Notre
I
Dame
could-
did something.
I could
That's
go- I
why
could
no one
go-
wants to talk about it.
I could go
Yeah.
for a cheeseburger.
And by something, I mean nothing.
But
Notre
like I
Dame.
said, this team has been proving all expectations as of this year. This is the year. This is the year. Because even JJ McCarthy was looking at it last year and looking at TCU winning that game semifinal last year. I'm like, he's been doing a lot. He's been so calm and humbled, and he has not been. He's been honestly very consistent.
With the way Washington's been playing, it would be hard to not see them winning it all this year, like against Michigan, because the way they've been playing, they've been coming out guns a-blazing. Obviously, Penix wants this national title as much as anybody else. I feel like Washington just kind of has that spark in their system right now, like they want it more. I feel like they want it more than anybody that's in the playoffs right now. I feel like they're going to come in this game the best hype you probably ever see. Any team that makes it to the national championship, obviously they're going to come out hyped, but I think Washington going to come out guns a-blazing. Michigan's going to come back, of course, and guns blazing back.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because crazy Pac-12 football, it's going to be high-powered offense, and I think that the way you beat the number one defense is with a high-powered offense.
They have allowed 1,919 rushing yards through 15 games.
So that run defense on Washington is going to be their weakness.
Well, but again, it's also Pac-12 where defense really isn't a thing in the Pac-12.
We've known that with USC. Mm-hmm. Yep, pretty much.
USC fans being cocky on Twitter.
No,
joining the Big Ten.
They're gonna allow 50 points a game, and they're gonna get blown up every single game they play in the Big Ten. It's not even a joke.
Oh, definitely, because all those Pac-12 teams coming into the Big Ten, they're gonna get their butts kicked.
Oh, it's because we actually play football.
Especially USC.
USC, it's not even being a joke.
And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being a realist here, because if USC and their fans are gonna be that cocky before even joining that conference, I'm like, you're gonna get shit. I'm like, I was looking at that video. I looked at that video before we started the pod.
I'm coming in Seawolf of shit talking with the USC people that they haven't played a game against in 30 years. We gotta come back. I gotta bring you back. I'm pulling you back. I am pulling you back. You're coming back to me.
USC is gonna. Hey, we're gonna give USC a proper welcome though.
They're not gonna be used to winter games either.
Talking about LSU and Louisville.
Well, that's true, but that was actually relevant.
Hey, we're gonna give those former Pac-12 schools a proper Big Ten welcome.
We can all agree.
The worst part is though, your Pac-10 welcome is gonna be like coleslaw. It's got raisins in it, and it's gonna be terrible.
Oh my god! I did not ask for that on my imagery, and that was not on the bingo card today.
But now it is. Now it is.
I don't know. If I go north of home, for some reason, people just can't do coleslaw right. It's weird and it's soupy.
Trust me,
y'all are weird.
I used to work in a restaurant. I know how I was.
I've heard that before.
Making coleslaw is just. I hate it.
I've never worked.
Well, you put it in a salad spinner, and then you just coat it in mayonnaise, and you're good.
I know
it's got 4 steps, but
coleslaw is like potato salad or egg salad or any of those things. Every recipe is a little different, and every place you go, it tastes a little different.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, except for the North gets it wrong. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like biscuits and gravy. If you go into the South, my Southern friends will attest to this. Biscuits and gravy in the South, that comes with sausage, gravy, right? But then I've gone up north and they're like, well, yeah, we got some biscuits and gravy, and then it's not like the Southern biscuits, instead it's the weird I don't know, dinner rolls, I guess is the best way to describe them. That are just covered in brown gravy, and it's what is?
I
Go
don't know
on.
where you're ordering breakfast biscuits and gravy, but I recommend you don't go there again.
Oh no, I 100% didn't. But like it's only been in the north that people have been confused about like two things:
How
cold slaw. Like all right, so Minneapolis. Trust me, like I've been to every state in the union at this point. So I traveled for. So Minneapolis was the one that like absolutely ruined cold slaw. As far as biscuits and gravy, that was Grand Rapids actually.
I'm not surprised.
They're weird up in Grand Rapids. They smell funny on the planes. I mean, like it's a thing. I have to fly there a lot.
But we can agree that I've been to Grand Rapids not too long ago, and I'm back.
They have really good beer though.
Yeah, Grand Rapids has some really good beer.
Really good beer. But like the biscuits and gravy, you do not trust them with your soul on that one. Like that's a no-go.
Honestly, if you go up further north, and like into like the northern lower peninsula area.
Canada did a way better job of biscuits and gravy than like fucking Grand Rapids did. Because the whole point was like, well, they may all screw up like breakfast up north, but you know who doesn't screw up breakfast? Pop-Tarts.
Right.
Real.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have the Pop-Tarts bowl. Oh my.
And the strawberries hit the hardest.
Yeah, that's so true though. That's so true.
But they're first.
Yes.
They're always first. They're always first. They're always the first one to go.
Hard, bro.
What's it? Okay, besides strawberry, what is your guys' favorite Pop-Tarts flavor?
I'm sorry, I picked strawberry.
Besides strawberry.
Black cherry.
Blueberry.
Oh,
Frosted
those are
cinnamon sugar.
those are good. Those are good. Like, so my question is like, is this for actual breakfast, or like just like what is your favorite Pop-Tarts? Because like those are two different scenarios.
Because I just eat a Pop-Tart out of the bag. I don't actually toast it.
I don't toast my Pop-Tarts either.
But like, are you eating them for breakfast, or like, are they like
Just your favorite
Pop-Tart.
You know?
Midnight snack before.
Yeah,
I
I don't do the same
years,
thing.
my younger years when I was living with my parents, I wake up in the middle of the night and I steal one Pop-Tart out of the cabinet.
Also, not a sponsor, but could be
Could be
for
Pop-Tarts.
some weird reason.
Pop-Tarts.
Rest in peace, our Lord and Savior Pop-Tart mascot.
Listen,
Like
I'd fuck up. I would.
What?
I would.
All right, let's be
I would eat that. I would eat that Pop-Tart in a heartbeat.
Like, all right, so for breakfast, like if I'm waking up first thing in the morning and it's like, okay, we don't have anything to eat, but like, hey, here's a box of things, and they're all Pop-Tarts. Like, I'm going with the brown sugar cinnamon. All right, fine.
Yes.
Those are good ones. All right, for breakfast. But like things get weird when you get past like waking up in the morning, right? Because some of those Oreo like Pop-Tart ones, they're freaking good. I can't eat them for breakfast, but like for like, okay, look, like I've been good, like all right, so it's a dessert treat. I'll have one. Like, please, someone else take the other one.
The way Kellogg's handled this was genius.
Just,
Like,
it was beautiful.
flawless.
Of all the bowl names and the mascot, it has to be the best. Like, I would hope the Duke's
It's the best I've
Mayo
seen,
Bowl,
yeah.
Yes,
Honestly,
I would
that's
hope
the
the Duke's
most
Mayo Bowl
positive,
takes note
honest-
for next
Well,
year.
like Duke's Mayo is pretty good. Like the nice thing was like between like the Duke's Mayo and like the Belk Bowl. Like, do you remember that whole exchange, which was lots of fun?
Oh no, I don't remember that. It's
Oh,
gotta be so long
well,
ago.
okay.
I'm gonna have to look it up now.
No, it's just a couple of years, I swear.
I will
Anyway.
say this though, the Pop-Tart. Honestly, the Pop-Tarts bowl was it's like how you cap off 2023 is you sacrifice the Everly crap out of the mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're done too. Like, so people are like, oh, they're just gonna bring him back. It's like, well, no, they have a lot of flavors.
There's more flavors out there.
So
And,
first was strawberry, just to go through there, so all of you deer people can have your Pop-Tart first.
oh, okay, there was so many memes about that Pop-Tart mascot.
Yes, that is so true. Oh my god.
They had what was it? It was There Goes My Hero by Foo Fighters.
Mhm.
There was also Creed, Take Me Higher.
This went on talking about Pop-Tarts.
Rest in peace, our Lord and Savior Pop-Tart.
I'm surprised that he didn't play My Sacrifice from Creed.
Yeah, well, like the whole premise, because like this is the crazy thing, right? So I have spent the last week researching the lore of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which you didn't think was going to be a thing. Their plan for at least the continuation of the contract is that when a flavor is the mascot for the bowl, it is sacrificed to be consumed, and it will never reappear because they don't want to traumatize children. Because of course not. Because like watching a mascot get devoured twice is way too much. But once, well, that's good marketing. Like I don't understand it. But apparently, what they're doing is they're going through some of the more popular flavors, and so next year we're going to get a different flavor of the Pop-Tart, which is going to have a different personality, apparently. And so I can't wait to see what kind of silliness this is going to bring. This is going to be glorious. Can we talk about like the Pop-Tart like standing off to the side with like one of the side guys? And he's just like, does it make you feel weird that I'm eating this Pop-Tart? No. And like the Pop-Tart guy hugs him, shoves the Pop-Tart into his mouth and says, no, that's where this belongs.
There was some porn going on, bro.
Moaning when he's chewing.
Bro, there was also a camera guy, because I saw this on No Context College Football Twitter account. I saw the camera guy, like ESPN was shoving the camera guy just like slowly eating a Pop-Tart, not realizing he was on TV. And then you see the mascot dancing with the other like the NC State's mascots and Kansas State. Seeing all the no context images of Pop-Tart.
So what were your two top Pop-Tarts? I forgot.
Well, I don't have a second one. Mine was always strawberry.
You have never tried another Pop-Tart?
I had.
Come on, you gotta.
I mean, yes, but also it's Pop-Tarts. They have 158 flavors of varying degrees of nutritional supplements, according to their Wikipedia page.
Right.
A second preference.
Every top Pop-Tart I buy, I always buy strawberry and just leave the aisle. That's it.
Like, have you ever been to a friend's house who doesn't buy strawberry? And like they've got
I have not been to a friend's house in ages.
Okay, well that explains a lot.
I've been more at home lately because I've been I don't even bother going to my friend's house, especially if I go back to work. I just go to work and come home. That's it.
Well, right. I'm glad you're dedicated to the craft. Jingles, your top two, just to refresh, Pop-Tarts.
Blueberry. Draw
top
the line.
Two.
Draw the line.
So just blueberry. Like you don't even have a secondary.
Nope. Draw the line.
All right, bunt.
Strawberry and wild berry.
Wild berry's a good one. I like that one. Like a lot of tang. Silox, what do you got?
Strawberry and black cherry.
Blue Wolf. Blue Streak. I'm sorry.
Blue Wolf.
Strawberry is, I'd say, my second favorite, and then number one is the frosted cinnamon sugar. Like I would eat the strawberry one sometimes, and then like if my mom ever bought the frosted cinnamon sugar, those would all disappear.
Yeah, like the problem with like the Oreo ones, they're really good, but like you just feel dirty like eating those for breakfast. It's like you're freaking eating cake. You know what I'm saying? All right, Velvet.
Yeah, cookies and cream and brown sugar cinnamon. Besides,
you stole my two. That's what you're saying.
I don't even know that was your two, but I'm just saying besides strawberry because I can't just go with strawberry. Everybody likes strawberry mostly. So
apparently, like deer just like live off strawberry. So I think that had to have been your number one. But
it actually is number one.
In general, like you know how deer furries
deer activity.
Yeah, headlights and strawberries.
I actually hate headlights because I have stigmatism.
I think we're good on this one for the college bowls. As a result, I want to thank so much to Blue Streak for being on.
Thank you.
Bunt for being on.
Thank you.
Jingles.
Thank you.
T-Wolf.
Thank you.
Skylock.
Thank you.
Velvet.
Made it through the whole entire podcast, so thanks.
It's me. It's Aquino, the Red Horse. That's been a sports wrap.